Hello friends, subscribe to our channel GTC and press the bell icon for more updates.
To the channel. So today in this video we are going to cover some questions with their brief explanation, which is very important for your railway pharmacist exam. So here we have a first question is, major part of the plasma consists of, and the options are, option A is organic substances, option B is inorganic substances, option C is blood cells, or option D is water. So major part of the plasma consists of water. So the correct answer is water, means major part of the plasma is consists water. So let's discuss with the help of explanation that plasma is a straw colored clear liquid part of blood, and the composition of the blood plasma is presented in below flow the diagram. Here we have a just diagram after this slide. So from this it is concluded that major part of the plasma consists of water, means 90 to 93% are water present in plasma. So here we have a just pictorial diagram. So here just it is a plasma which consists 90 to 93% of water, and it is a solid content which includes organic substances and inorganic substances. And the next third one is gas. These are oxygen, carbon dioxide and nitrogen. So the correct answer is water, means plasma consists as a major part of as a water, means 90 to 93%. So moving on the next question, which famous scientist and former Indian president had a bacteria named after him? And the options are, option A is President Abdul Kalam, option B is President Pratibha Patil, option C is President Pranab Mukherjee, option D is none of the above. So which famous scientist and former Indian president had a bacteria named after him? And the president is President Abdul Kalam is the famous scientist, and former Indian president had a bacteria named after him. So let's discuss with the help of explanation that scientists of NASA have named a new organism discovered by them after the much loved Indian scientist and former Indian president Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. So researchers at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, means JPL, the foremost lab of NASA for work on interplanetary travel, discovered the new bacteria on the filters of the International Space Station, that is ISS, and named that bacteria is Bacillus kalami to honor the late president APJ Abdul Kalam, who was a renowned aerospace scientist. Students, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was a aerospace scientist. So the correct answer is Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, and the name of that bacteria is Bacillus kalami. So the next question is, largest amount of urea is normally carried by, and the options are, option A is hepatic portal vein, option B is renal artery, option C is hepatic artery, or option D is hepatic vein. So largest amount of urea is normally carried out by which vein or which artery? So the correct answer is renal artery, that largest amount of urea is normally carried out by renal artery. So here we have explanation that the blood renal artery is the part of where largest amount of urea are carried. So the reason is mentioned here that blood first enters the kidney through the renal artery, which branches into a network of tiny blood vessels called arterioles, and these arterioles then carry the blood into the tiny blood vessels of glomerulus. And it is here that in the renal in the renal corpuscles where filtration occurs, urea is a waste product formed in the liver during the metabolic breakdown of protein. So the body does not use urea, so the kidney is to having the aim to remove this metabolite through the blood. So students, just try to observe the explanation with very calm. So as the glomerular filtrate enters the tubule, it is rich in urea. So because the urea freely passes through the membranes of the glomerulus, so it is passed out. So here we have just pictorial diagram for your better understanding. So students, just here we have again we just observe that first renal artery is the part of where largest amount of urea carried out, and the reason is mentioned here that blood enters first in the kidney through the renal artery, which branches into a network of tiny blood vessels called arterioles, and these arterioles then carry the blood into the tiny blood vessels of the glomerulus. So in the renal corpuscles where filtration occur, urea is a waste product found in the liver during the metabolic breakdown of proteins, and the body does not use urea, so the kidney having the aim to remove this metabolite through the. Moving on the next question, surface tension is measured by, and the options are, option A is de novo tensiometer, option B is Coulter counter, option C is Anderson apparatus, option D is all. So surface tension is measured by which apparatus? So the correct answer is de novo tensiometer. Surface tension is measured by de novo tensiometer. So let's discuss with the help of explanation. Here we have a detailed description of each point, that methods for measuring surface and interfacial tensions are capillary rise method, ring de novo tensiometer, drop weight method, that is stylogometer, and a Coulter counter is an apparatus for counting and sizing particles suspended in electrolytes. And what about the Anderson pipette? Anderson apparatus determines particle size and size distribution. So the correct answer is ring de novo tensiometer, which is used to measuring the surface and interfacial tension. So moving on the next question, for a stable emulsion, the zeta potential should be, option A is minus 10 MV, option B is greater than to minus 20 MV, option C is greater than minus 30 MV, option D is greater than minus 40 MV. So for a stable emulsion, the zeta potential should be, the correct answer is minus 30 MV. So for a stable suspension, the zeta potential should be greater than minus 30 MV. So let's discuss with the help of explanation here, that students, we are getting a stable emulsion. Here we have a stable region, and here we also a stable region. So greater than plus 30 MV, we get the stable region, and less than 30, greater than minus 30 MV, we also get the stable region. So between these, we just get the unstable emulsion. So just student, try to note down that if the option is also that greater than plus 30 MV, so it is the correct answer. So this is all about this question. Moving on the next question, chemical signals released by an organism that influence the behavior of other individuals of the same species are called, and the options are, option A is pheromone, option B is insulin, option C is androgen, option D is steroid. So chemical signals released by an organism that influence the behavior of other individuals of the same species are called pheromone. So let's discuss or understand with the help of a detailed explanation here. So the correct answer is pheromone. Next question is, benzene sulfonamide based alpha-1 receptor antagonist? Options are: option A is 𝙂𝙎𝙎𝘾𝙄𝙎𝙎, option B is 𝘎𝑅𝑎𝑑𝑜𝑠IN, option C is tamsulosin, option D is prazosin. So benzene sulfonamide based alpha-1 receptor antagonist is tamsulosin. Tamsulosin is a benzene sulfonamide based alpha-1 receptor antagonist. So let's discuss with the help of explanation. Here we have a detailed description of this tamsulosin. The tamsulosin is benzene sulfonamide based alpha blocker. In the other hand, prazosin, 𝘎𝑅𝑎𝑑𝑜𝑠IN and 𝙂𝙎𝙎𝑜sins are quinone derivatives. Here we have just a diagram also. That first one is prazosin, another one is 𝘎𝑅𝑎𝑑𝑜𝑠IN, and this one is 𝙂𝙎𝙎𝑜sIN, and D is 𝘿𝙂𝙎𝙎𝑜sin. So next question is, Miroxide test is exclusively given by: option A is caffeine, option B is atropine, option C is belladonna, option D is ergot. So Miroxide test is exclusively given by caffeine. So Miroxide test is for caffeine. Let's discuss with the help of explanation that Miroxide test is the analytical technique to identify the presence of caffeine and other purines derivatives in the sample. So Miroxide test is for the purines, or especially for caffeines. So next question is, which of the following resins comes under the category of ester resins? Option A is colophony, option B is myra, option C is shellac, option D is benzoin. So which of the following resins come under the category of ester resins? So the correct answer is benzoin. Benzoin is the resin which comes under the category of ester resins. So next question is, which day has been declared as International Day of Sports for Development and Peace by UN? And the options are: option A is February 06, option B is April 06, option C is June 23rd, option D is July 12. So which day has been declared as International Day of Sports for Development and Peace by United Nations? So the correct answer is April 06 as the International Day of Sports for Development and Peace by United Nations. Let's discuss with the help of explanation that to raise awareness of this potential, that 6th April was declared as the International Day of Sports for Development and Peace, that is IDSDP, by the United Nations General Assembly. So the correct answer is 6th April. Next question is, the half-life of zero order reaction is: option A is 0.693 by K, option B is 2.303 by K, option C is 2.303 by K, option D is A by 2K. So the half-life of zero order reaction is, the correct answer is A by 2K. So the half-life of the zero order reaction is A by 2K. So let's discuss with the help of explanation. Here we have a order and rate law and the concentration time equation and the half-lives of them and the graphical plot. So for zero order, the rate law is rate is equal to K naught, and the concentration time equation is A naught minus A is equal to K naught T, and the half-life is for zero order is A naught by 2K naught, and the graphical plot is between A versus T, and the where in comparison to zero order, the first order is having rate law is rate is equal to K1 into A, and the equation is log A naught upon A is equal to KT upon 2.303, and the half-life is for first order is 0.693 by K, and the graphical plot is between log A versus T, and for the second order Rate law is rate is equal to K2A square, and the equation is 1 by A is equal to KT plus 1 by A naught, and the half life of second order is 1 by K2 in bracket into A naught, and the graphical plot is between 1 by A versus T. Students, just try to note down this table because this is very important for your competitive exam. Many a time the question may just ask directly that what the half life of first order or zero order, so you can just attempt the question very confidently. Next question is, which of the following statement is correct for fog? Option A is liquid particles are dispersed in a gas. Option B is gaseous particles are dispersed in a liquid. Option C is solid particles are dispersed in a liquid. Option D is solid particles are dispersed in a gas. So which of the following statement is correct for fog? So the correct answer is liquid particles are dispersed in a gas in a fog system. And the next question is, which of the following is not a radioactive particle? So option A is alpha, option B is delta, option C is beta, option D is gamma. So which of the following is not a radioactive particle? So the correct answer is delta is not a radioactive particle. Next question is, for excellence in which field is the Ramnath Goenka award given? Option A is cinema, option B is theatre, option C is journalism, option D is all of the above. So for excellence in which field is the Ramnath Goenka award given? So the correct answer is journalism. For excellence in which in journalism the Ramnath Goenka award is given. So next here we have explanation on this, that Ramnath Goenka excellence in journalism awards are the most prestigious awards in India in the field of journalism, named after Ramnath Goenka. The awards have been held annually since 2006. So the next and last question of this video, that which of the following actions is described to delta type of opioid receptor? Option A is supraspinal analgesia, option B is respiratory depression, option C is euphoria, and option D is reduced intestinal motility. So which of the following action is described to delta type of opioid receptor? So the correct answer is supraspinal analgesia. So let's discuss with the help of explanation that both spinal as well as supraspinal analgesia is mediated by 3 opioid receptors, that is mu, kappa and delta, and others actions mentioned in the question are mainly mediated by mu receptor. So this is the last question, students. Thanks for watching.